You know, some sports teams, they're just more than their win-loss record, right? They become the whole story of a city. A story about passion, about getting back up when you're knocked down, and yeah, some serious heartbreak. Today, we're diving into a team that embodies that like no other, the Buffalo Bills.
So here's the big question, really. How does a team that's, let's be honest, famous for some epic losses become one of the most loved, most loyal fan bases in all of sports? It's a wild story, a story about a loyalty that's been tested by fire, by the highest highs and the lowest lows. And to really get it, you got to go back to where it all started.
Okay, first things first, let's get something straight. The Bills aren't just Buffalo's team. They're the only NFL team that actually plays in the state of New York. I mean, think about it. The Jets, the Giants, they've got New York on the jersey, but they play in Jersey. The Bills, they are the real deal, the one and only. They've got that tough, blue-collar, Western New York spirit, and that connection, man, it is everything.
All right, so to really get the whole picture, we're going to rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning.
So the Bills didn't just pop up in the NFL. Nope. They started out as the ultimate underdogs, one of the first teams in the old American Football League, the AFL. That was the rival league, you know? So they had this scrappy, us-against-the-world vibe right from the jump, all thanks to their founder, Ralph Wilson, who literally built this thing from the ground up.
Now, this is where the story gets absolutely wild. I mean, calling the Bills' history a roller coaster doesn't even do it justice. We're talking about the highest peaks you can imagine in the absolute deepest valleys, sometimes happening right on top of each other.
Just look at this timeline. It tells you everything you need to know. You've got two completely different stories here. Back in the mid-60s, the Bills were on top of the world. 2 AFL championships in a row, which, by the way, are still the only major pro sports titles the city of Buffalo has, ever. Then flash forward a generation. They climbed that mountain all over again, only to experience a fall that's, well, legendary for all the wrong reasons.
4. That's it. Just one number. But for this team, it means everything. It defines an entire era. It represents something incredible, something that will probably never happen again. And at the exact same time, it represents this unimaginable, soul-crushing failure. 4 straight trips to the Super Bowl and 4 straight losses.
It's just the ultimate paradox, isn't it? I mean, winning the AFC Championship 4 years in a row, that is insane. It's a record that still stands, and honestly, it might never be broken. But to lose all 4 of those Super Bowls that follow, that's a whole different kind of record. It's a weight, a burden, that the team and its entire fan base have had to carry around for decades.
So what happens after a fall like that? Well, the fall from the top was brutal, and it was long. After those incredible Super Bowl years in the 90s, the Bills basically fell into an abyss. They entered a period that would test the loyalty of even the most hardcore fans.
17 years. Think about that. An entire generation of fans was born and grew up without ever seeing their team make the playoffs. This wasn't just a bad stretch. For Buffalo, it felt like an eternity of just frustration.
And to put that into perspective, this wasn't just bad for the NFL. At the time, it was the longest active playoff drought in all major pro sports in North America. Baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it. Out of all 122 teams, the Bills were the very last ones to finally make it to the postseason in the 21st century. Just unbelievable. And you know what made it all so much worse? It didn't happen in a vacuum. While the Bills were wandering in the desert, their biggest rival, the New England Patriots with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, were building one of the greatest dynasties in sports history. And they did it by pretty much walking all over the Bills year after year. The Patriots became the ultimate villain.
But here's the thing about droughts. They always, eventually, end. And for Buffalo, a storm was brewing. A whole new era of hope was about to dawn, and it was all thanks to a couple of key arrivals. And boom, everything changed. First, in 2017, head coach Sean McDermott shows up and completely changes the culture, brings in this tough, disciplined mindset. Then, the next year, they draft this kid named Josh Allen, a quarterback with a literal cannon for an arm, and together, oh man, they didn't just break the drought, they started a revolution. The results were, well, just look at this. The turnaround was absolutely staggering. They finally make the playoffs, they win their first division title since 1995, that's a 25-year wait, and now they've reeled off 5 straight division titles. They went from the basement to being a team you expect to see competing for a Super Bowl every single year. In Buffalo, hope isn't just back, it's the expectation now.
Of course, when you get this good, you get a new arch-nemesis. For 2 decades, the villain was the Patriots, but now, the Josh Allen era is all about these legendary, heart-stopping playoff showdowns with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, every time they play, it feels like the whole world is watching. It's become the best rivalry in the league, hands down.
So, through all of this, the championships, the Super Bowl losses, the drought, the comeback, the look of the team has changed, but that core spirit, that has never gone anywhere. Let's start with the original. This right here, this was the look of those early championship teams. You got the standing red bison on that clean white helmet. It's just a classic, tough, no-nonsense look. It just screams old-school football, you know?
And then you get this. The armor of the 90s dynasty, that charging buffalo on the bright red helmet. When you see this uniform, you immediately think of the legends: Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith. This was the look that absolutely dominated the AFC for years.
And what about today? Well, what's old is new again. They've gone back to their roots, bringing back the white helmet with a modern spin on a classic 70s design. It's the perfect look, really. It connects that legendary past with what everyone in Buffalo hopes is a very, very bright future.
And you can't talk about the Bills' legacy without talking about the absolute titans of the franchise. In their entire history, they've only retired 3 numbers. That's it. Number 12 for Jim Kelly, 34 for Thurman Thomas, and 78 for Bruce Smith. The Holy Trinity, the guys who built that incredible 90s dynasty. So when you step back and look at the whole story, the early championships, the gut-wrenching Super Bowl losses, the 17-year drought, and this incredible comeback, it becomes so clear. This is a team that isn't defined by the trophies in their case. It's defined by an unbelievable, unshakable resilience.
So, that leaves us with one final question. What's the next chapter in this incredible story? After all these decades of the highest highs and the absolute lowest lows, are they finally going to reach the top of the mountain? Is ultimate glory next? Or is it just going to be more unforgettable, heart-pounding drama? With the Bills, you just never know.